G'day, today we're going to revisit the level of Beijing and see if I can improve on my score from last time, having learnt a few more techniques in this game. So one thing that this game does do, actually we'll just make him diagonal, there's no point in making him rigid. One thing that this level does do more than others is it loves to cram everything in to any space available. So just for good measure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to block off the most nearby space, just because I don't want them to build not only the warehouse, but the houses around my current red one. Now I got lucky that my red guys are in that bottom corner. It does sort of mean that everything would have to surely be built somewhere up. Even if it's a red one like this, that's fine, because what it just means is that my these two can already be separated from each other, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that in terms of layout, because ultimately my end goal is going to be to try and have everyone separate, every single warehouse separate from its houses. Now that is exactly what this level loves to do. It just loves to. It's almost like it's gunning to put warehouses on existing roads. Like it knows. Now there are a few things. There are a couple of things that I've seen a lot recently in the comments for suggestions on the ways that I can improve my game, and there's two that I particularly like. I don't know if they're coming from somewhere else, but they are one with the way that I build, and I try and separate everything out. I'll have all my houses, say, on this side, and then they will come in. Oh, it's doing it on purpose. Doing it on purpose. But how am I meant to get these guys across without having to cut over everything? When I have guys coming out of a suburb, they all converge to the same one single road. So this is going to be a bottleneck once there's high demand for this guy. So what I should be doing is putting roundabouts on the exit points of these suburbs, just so that doesn't become the problem in late game when trying to get out to a warehouse. So I can do that already for this guy. We'll just pause for a second. So we've got this guy on his own connection, and those two can just share a connection. For now, I actually might do that, just so that if a house shows up back here, we can have it connected, and he's blocking that spot from killing the chances of that occurring. So what I'll do as well is I'll clear that out, and then what I'll do is I'll connect these two houses up and have them run across here, connect to him, and then we can get rid of one of yellow's connections and just create a second problem for blue instead. The other thing that people have pointed out, which is a very good hint or suggestion rather, is that cars slow down as they drive into 4 road intersections. You can see here, every single time, we can even say do one here, and you can see even though nothing's coming, nothing can ever come, these guys are going to slow down as they pass through it. So if you change it to a 3 road intersection, it's not going to do it. So 4 or more, they will automatically slow down. So it means that if you do have a 4 or more intersection, particularly ones like this where there's no reason that these cars are going to turn, traffic lights actually could be the solution to that problem. It also means you want to consider that when you are building your suburbs, that you don't want 4 say I don't want to connect this guy straight down. I actually don't want to connect him to there either, because in both of those scenarios he's creating a 4 connection intersection. So I want him to roll out an extra spot. You're doing it to me again, where you're just building them right onto my roads. You can't bring me down. I can't even go behind him yet, so let's just do that, and we'll wait till we've got this extra line down the bottom, and then we'll slide him under as opposed to going through red. So you can see sort of, I might build there as well, just so that I have the room future date to make that a roundabout. I'm gonna have to build these guys straight here to allow blue to get down this way. Definitely not ideal. And that's a pain too, because I could actually use him to run there on a clear path. That was my intentions for grey. So what we might do is just sort of let them share. So we'll move them up that way. And then we'll get him to connect there. And then just continue on. Join there too. Hopefully he's considered closer than these guys. So he's the one that, yeah, good. He's the one that's going to take those jobs first. Which means that there's going to be less traffic on this road of yellows. But these guys are essentially playing as backups to this one house, very, very far away from its destination. Okay. Another one that's definitely an awkward spot and pretty useless spot for that's there. Now, I'm sitting on a roundabout. I didn't realize I had it, so let's just build him there. Okay, and that guy can be supplied by that one house for now. We'll take the motorway, because the last time I played, I did not get many motorways at all, so I'm definitely snatching anyone that I get at the moment. I'll just keep an eye on this guy, because we might have to reconnect that road in case he doesn't get any more support from anywhere. Okay, well that's a real painful sort of layout. Just have to connect him like that, I suppose. Alright, so there's that extra row down, so let's pull green out. Pull blue out. We'll let grey have their own space now, because they're the sort of the first ones that we want to have that space. We'll make blue take that way. And what we'll do is we will... we're going to have to make green shares as much as they can, I guess. So we'll run them like that. Isn't too bad so far. Definitely blue is a problem for both of its warehouses. It's having to cross other people's roads to get to them. I'm not sure there's too much that we can do to fix that short of using motorways. Now we do have 2 motorways. So firstly what we want to do actually is draw this guy down one. Because if I want to have a motorway just land straight on top of him, I don't want, say, houses being built here and red losing the ability to move down. So we'll just adjust them slightly. And do we want to give them the motorway? We gave these 4 guys that motorway, then it would mean this red would be left alone, those yellows would be left alone. Well, I think becoming a skyscraper has just made the decision for me there. So we'll make that motorway number 1. Now that also can be helpful because that's only 4 houses that they've got here, and they've already blocked themselves in, so we can't get any more houses in this area. But because they're so close, hopefully it means that for the full long term they can take care of this skyscraper without him becoming critical mass. No, I'm misusing the phrase to critical mass there, I believe. To me, the phrase critical mass sounds like something is about to explode, that it's reached its absolute breaking point, and critical mass, next step is it blows up. But I think that critical mass actually means self-sufficiency. I could be wrong. If there's any nuclear physicists watching, please let me know. Okay, so We'll have to connect him to there for now. No, we don't. We can use the motorway. Okay, so these guys can be relieved of their duty of having to travel all the way along. We can get rid of that road as well. And we will just make them a little outcrop there. And throw them up that way. Nope, we don't want him connecting there because we want to separate them out. Alright, we're going to keep taking the motorways. Secret for long-term success. Now we can also get rid of this road here. Because blue are now just operating down here. These yellow are fine. That's a great addition. This isn't. Okay. That's an extra nice thing though, that house. So what we'll do is we'll redo those guys. This is free from green touching it. And we'll give him loan rights to that guy. Currently we've got 2 houses connecting to this guy, 3 houses connecting to this guy, but they're both connected, which means that those 5 houses can actually look after each other. Now I have had some people comment that they don't think that there's any pattern to the way that cars do leave, that any car connected can be the next car that goes and takes that order. I disagree with that. As far as I can tell, it's actually the next it's the closest car. And it's only that if all of the closer cars are already gone and one order comes up, and that even if that closest car's on his way back, that next car up is going to go. So if you do connect 50 houses, that 50th house isn't ever going to go unless there is a 50th order, and not necessarily 50th order. If there's an order that the first car and all other 49 cars aren't yet home again. So adding too many houses isn't necessarily a bad thing. It certainly can hurt your efficiency sometimes if they're coming from different angles and so on. Alright, well I think for this guy, we might just have to use a motorway. Now the only problem is that there's only 2 sort of houses that I'm not currently using. I like the idea that I've got 4 houses for this guy and 4 for that guy. So it's potentially just this one guy on his own, because that is just a square building. It's going to have a highway at his front door to go make those collections. Cool. So what we'll do is we'll just shift that one forward. I probably should have done that beforehand. We'll now just have to keep an eye on this. Because it's not going to let me build there until until it moves. Take another motorway. Definitely being lucky with my motorways on this run. Okay, I do want to get this guy connected to that, but to do it we're going to have to extend out this blue track, but I guess that's the price we'll pay. It's not too much longer, but I'd call it forgivable. Not too much sure if there's any use for him at this point. I mean, if I got rid of this road, I could connect to the back end of him, or I could have him come down and connect to this guy. Or he could take a long trip around and connect to here. But at this stage, I'm not convinced I need him. We'll wait and see what happens. Okay. Well, it's these 2 houses down here that really need to go and address that. I do have another motorway, but there's no way I can get these 2 houses to face the same direction to go and get there, short of having to share this road with blue. Potentially the answer could be to give blue the freeway to here, and then have these guys run all the way up there. But that's way too far for what they're going to do. Sorry, for sort of keeping that sustainable. So, for this brief moment, I'll ponder this and give him that one guy take care of it. In fact, what we might do maybe is that. Okay. So blue can now, I guess, connect up this way and have the 2 of those to deal with. We can have... No, you can't sneak through. Neither can that guy. That's a nice connection down here. Do I have a bridge? I do. Lovely. So what we can do is just run these guys up. And they can take care of him once I reclaim some road tiles, which I will do with these guys that no one's currently using. Okay, and so with that we can reclaim this highway. And what we want to do is move that guy off this road because he's actually forcing them to slow down because he was the fourth car on that road. Fourth car on that road? No, fourth road on that intersection. That's what we want to say. Okay, so I have a roundabout. So is there anywhere that I can use a roundabout? Now this is just congested. There's no way that I can squeeze a roundabout anywhere in there. I can put one in here though. So let's get that grey guy to look away. We'll get him in there and we'll get this guy to connect to that. Get rid of that, make him go in there. And then those two can come in on the top. That divides them up quite nicely. No. Now we do still have a motorway on hand. And I think ideally we'd want it on this blue here at the moment. Now, the hope is that there's so much space around that blue that we might get some blue houses up there some way because we are running out of space in this corner that... so surely we can't get any more, but they continue to prove me wrong. So what we'll do, though, is we will knock out all that and we will put a highway there. For the time being, that can be taken care of like that. Okay, so now this guy, he is just pivoted to being big. So what we want to do is take that seriously and give him more houses. Now we can thank those two houses down there for their service. We can connect him up there. Now we're going to do that right now while he's only got one job in there because he won't do anything until... well, this won't go away until... how do I make that connect better? That's going to slow them down there. Alright, we'll take the bridge. Now, there's still only two houses looking after this guy, which is a problem. We've got 5 guys looking after this. How many pieces have I got? 37. So let's run this guy over here and let him address that guy. And we might give him a buddy too, so there's at least 2 guys on that. Still only 3 houses on this. I'm severely under yellow housed here, I'd say. Don't have a roundabout. Probably setting these guys up with a roundabout would be a good move. There's a lot of houses coming up there. Nice and quick. Now, this guy I can sneak through without having to use a roundabout. Sorry, roundabout bridge. So we'll just let those guys join in there and help out. Blue house up here. Too far from anything. So we'll let him join there. Now my problem at the moment is yellow. I have 4 yellow factories and I have 10 yellow houses. Which is certainly understaffed. Now, this green at the top here could also suddenly face a problem similar to that. He's just gone... he's just gone... Okay, now he's gone skyscraper, sorry, and I've only got 3 houses on him, so I might have to see if these guys get more, and they might get sent his way. Okay, now I've just got a roundabout, so what I'm going to do is shift this to here. Put a roundabout in somewhere. Let's go there. Move to there. Okay, so he comes out there. These guys can go one in there. These two can come in there. We'll send him up, and these two can join him. And then he can go in that one. This guy can go in there. So they do have a bit of a way to travel to get to him. We do want to keep them efficient. Okay. So we now got 5 houses over here. News, because he can't connect to the rest of his buddies. So what we'll do is we'll shift him over here. Now it's not great for the distance that they have to travel, and that's funny that I just got a 4th house down here that might have solved their problem. But we will go for the larger number of houses. Build a straight line. There we go. The larger number of houses over here, because that's now 5 to... Okay, so we will shift that blue guy out of the way and connect him, which means that we can shift this guy over. So that guy's now got 3. This guy's got 3. This guy's now still only got 3. And, okay, cool. Well, the two of them have got 4 now at least. Do I have any bridges? I do. This guy's still operating on only 2. Okay. Alright. So, pause. We have 5 houses on this guy. He needs, say, 4. We can shift someone out of that way, but this guy's stuck behind everything, so there's not really too much we can do in terms of moving him. We only have 10 pieces. Let's just try and wait out this week at least. Another yellow house in another pretty ordinary position. Oh no, that's not an ordinary position, that's a perfect position. Blinded by this thing, forgetting that that's exactly where I need a yellow house. I apologize, yellow house. You have just been a saving grace. Okay, grey here. Now, do I have a bridge still? I do. Do I have 9 spots? Not ideal. Okay, let's see if we can get connected there. Okay, who can we say wait a little bit? Three of these 3 guys up here. That's 2. Cool. So what this is this is another sort of way that I try and design. There are 2 grey warehouses connected to this one. We can connect these guys and we don't even have to worry about that. Sorry, so my thought there anyway, while actually I can only get the 2 there because all these other guys are stranded behind that. That's alright, we'll leave this as our backup, just in case. Depends on who goes first. Another strategy of the way that you'd lay out a suburb if you've got 2 factories connected to it. So instead of them going out the same way and attempting to connect to a factory, they actually go out 2 different ways. So the houses on this side are going to go left, the houses on this side are going to go right. So that reduces your congestion because they shouldn't be crossing, hopefully. Would only be if it is exceptionally busy that guys from too far on one side are going to try and cover the ones on the other side. Okay, so we've got even more yellow houses here. We'll just shift his positioning so they're not slowing down as they cross that guy. Now the other thing that we can probably do with that... Ugh. It's inconvenient. Alright. Whose path is this? This one greenhouse? Right, well you don't need that green path anymore because we've got enough guys on this side that can go take care of that. So if we turn this guy around and run him this way, we need 1 extra square, so we'll just claim them from this guy. We'll put those 2 guys on him, and they're just running through that intersection, which hopefully shouldn't be too busy because it's yellow square, red square. Who's not happy? Oh, where did you come from? Okay. Overlook that guy, something fierce. Now, How are we going to connect him without causing ourselves too much grief? I think we're going to have to try and sneak him through there. Motorway would have done wonders there. We'll take the roundabout. We'll just consider for a second, is there anyone here that needs that roundabout? This would be great for a roundabout. Also got a huge blue population up here that we could potentially take advantage of. I mean, these guys could take over this job. Whether we can sort of split them out. Yeah, let's try that. And then we'll just shift this because they're slightly closer as well. And it sort of future-proofs it a little bit, especially while that doesn't need too many guys coming to it. It's probably the best time to do it. Now, if I cut off this road here, got rid of that because these guys now are no longer doing anything with that, and I could shift him onto this side to give that guy a little bit extra cover. And then I could shift all those guys that way, leave that one with 4, and then bring him down. Gives him connect as well. Gives this guy 1 extra. Gives that guy just 2 extras, but he's also just a square, so he doesn't really need it too badly. Now, hopefully this is just a lack of a bridge. Connect this one guy via a bridge. See if it's just a moment to just sort of adjust, because there's a lot of grey having to move. Now, this yellow here is still just a square. So what we might do is we can see if we can run this guy across here and let these guys take over the work. Not overly ideal, but potentially in the long run, because this is just a square, that's just a square, could ease the congestion for both these red guys. There's yellow on that road too. Oh, the yellow's changed path by having that connected. And we'll get rid of that too. Okay. So this blue down the bottom is going to be briefly problematic. So firstly what we'll do is we're just going to correct these guys so that they go sort of a bit more straight up in addressing their problems. And we'll cut this guy straight across. Now it does mean that there's only 5 houses to look after these 2 warehouses. Potentially I could try and shift it so that these 2 houses looked after him, these 3 houses, but they would have to cut through this awful busy section of that Grey has here. So what we might do, where's he off to? Oh, he's coming around this way. Ugh, we don't want that. We might do is just hope that we get a motorway. Savage, okay. Can we use our roundabouts? Now, someone did make that comment to me as well. I claim roundabouts at points where there's roundabouts have lost all meaning because there's not enough space left on the map. So at that point, take traffic lights, even if it's just to appease them. And I got to say that's probably not a bad idea. Now, could possibly chuck a roundabout in here as well, even if it's temporary, just to try and clean up the mess that's going on here. So let's just pause there. Get this guy in, so it's 1, 2. Let's get that. Sorry, no, I want him going up. Get out of there. And what we'll do is see if we can get these guys to avoid it. Get to that. There's no point in doing that, I don't think. Alright. See if this smooths this out at all or if it makes it worse. This red is looking a little... He's having a bit of a struggle, so is this guy. Connect him on there. I mean, this guy is a bit lean on houses. Definitely if I had traffic lights, probably a set there. Wouldn't go astray. Where's this guy going down? So these guys are actually actively trying to get to... Oh, this house. No, get out of there. We're just going to make things worse by trying to do that. Yeah, red's just suddenly exploded as a problem child. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got going on with red. See if there's anything that we can do to address this. So, what we'll do first is we'll just shift these two guys that way. This red has a lot of houses coming this way, so we don't need all of them. The problem is this might have been left too late and these guys aren't yet home. Now, what I'm going to do is this is just an absolute Hail Mary move, where we're going to have a look at who's at home and who's the closest. So we'll say that these guys up here tick those boxes so we can get 4 guys straight over as fast as we can. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough in time. Oh. That is what we call a mini motorways quick fix. Now you can already see that there's so many of these red guys here are now just sort of sitting back and relaxing. So we've addressed that. Now let's have a look at this yellow here. We've got this little yellow neighborhood down here that we should really be using to help in that too. And we should be considering if there's another way that we can get to this green neighborhood. I could connect those, but then it means that this guy is going to have that traffic passing through him. But also, what I could do is... Who is responsible for this guy? It's these houses up here? He might have turned... skyscraper and I didn't notice it. Let me just make sure I'm not moving anything serious up here. Now, grey doesn't need to progress beyond this point either. So what we'll do is we will take Highway 5 that has just saved red and we will put it there for yellow. Now, yellow should still get a little bit of an assist from these guys coming up until this gets moved, which we hope is sooner rather than later. Really sweat those ones out. So suddenly we're now going to have a surge of yellow cars coming down to help address this. Cool, that one's a little bit more under control as well. Now the question will be whether I should disconnect these guys off this, which I think I will for now. We'll get them to sort of look at each other, because we'll just use that freeway to take care of this. Okay, another motorway is what we want. Now another thing that we can possibly do is all of these houses down the bottom aren't being used. All we have to do is get past them. Like you can see, say these 4 green guys are just connected. They're not doing anything. They're just... So I could possibly move these blue guys through and connect to here. Help alleviate a lot of what's going on over here. But I do now also have another freeway. What we might do is disconnect this guy, because these blue guys seem to really be struggling. And we'll give them this freeway. And again, we're going to see a surge of guys that are going to try and address both this one and this one. Now, it could make it a little bit worse before it makes it better. But once they have applied this fix, what we're going to do is disconnect these guys from the roundabout. Just leave them to blue. Although maybe what we should do is give grey the rights to access that, because they are falling apart as well. because this is just firstly it is just a square, and it has so quickly corrected. Maybe I do need to send this guy up to grey. Let's think. Well, these grey guys here should all be addressing that. Problem would be that if they're not only just addressing this, but they're also attempting to address that. So what I might do is disconnect this. If I disconnect this road here, that will mean that these grey ones will only head up here. These greys here, it will now be their job to go to this. So what we then might do is we will quickly pull this. We'll give them an extra little line up there. Put that there. And then shift this over here so that we're not removing the road until this highway has moved. Now hopefully what this will do as well is encourage these guys to go that way and fix him. But you can see that someone's still over that side with the road not yet gone. Okay, so the freeway's moved, which means that what we can do as well is, we can disconnect it, but we don't need to really. But we need those grey guys to get moving. There's possibly not enough grey guys down here to address that problem as well. See how we go. We're going to hold on for another slight moment, maybe. Doesn't seem like this one's going to get fixed. We're going to be very close. I'm just holding on for dear life as we slowly truck away, but it looks like we're at that point where everyone's about to give up the ghost. Give up the goat. I'm not sure which one of those is the correct saying. But there we go. Yeah, that guy eventually got us. But there we go, yeah. 3,700. It's quite a nice score to come back. I think definitely getting the motorways early and often in that one certainly helped. I have gotten that one before where I haven't got too many, and it does make it a lot trickier. Yeah, any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. Till next time, catch you later.